the question that was just asked to me was about my worldview, and then it got twisted into an atheistic worldview. So,
let me
what
explain.
is it I'm being asked about? My worldview,
let me explain.
Or my worldview as an atheist?
Okay, so
because there's no atheist worldview in general, as far as I know.
You got to remember that Randolph doesn't actually have a worldview because he doesn't actually have an opinion about anything.
Well, I know.
John's trying to make me laugh.
He's very safe.
Clever attempt.
So Randolph, let me explain, and I will, I guess, put forth a premise, and you can correct me if you don't feel that it's right. So,
we'll get clarification.
Ultimately, there are two worldviews. There is the theist worldview and the atheist worldview. There's either God did it or nature did it. What God is not relevant. It does. I don't care what God.
In that case, there's a third because I don't hold to either of them.
Yeah, actually,
Peter, your world. We've already talked about it. You have no answers. You're fully incoherent. I'm talking to Randolph. He's a little bit. Well, we'll see.
I need to check what you're describing is called a naturalistic.
Why are you acting like it's not no 16?
And a naturalist point of view, worldview is not the same as something that would be an atheist worldview. And I'm going to tell you, there's no atheist worldview, because the only thing about atheism is we don't believe in deities, and to say there's a whole worldview attached to that is to put a lot more onto it than what it is.
Perfect. So you thoroughly explained that it is either God or nature. So if there is no God, then nature done it. And so therefore we are all products of nature. And if we are all products of nature, then you have to demonstrate why things are morally wrong in nature. Because when we look out into nature, barring humanity, bad things just happen and nobody cares. But now you want to borrow morals.
We see social species that have developed morality.
Peter,
it's not just humans; it's a lot of species.
Peter, I'm talking to Randolph.
Wow, that was ridiculous.
I know.
That was a ridiculous response.
Peter goes really deep.
Sam, you're afraid of
that was a ridiculous response.
I promise you. I am, Peter. Your intellect is superior. I need somebody.
Why are you acting like a snot-nosed 16-year-old?
Yeah, and my intellect is not superior as far as I know. But
okay, Mr. 30-year-old, you're done.
Wow, he said that.
You know what? I gotta say, I am in denial about.
You know what? Overtalk me again, Paul, and see what happens.
So I am in denial.
Really?
I am in denial about my aging, so maybe Darth Dawkins knows a little more about me than I realized.
You're a buffoon.
If I try to clean this up for my channel, it's going to be.
That's what Darth would really say too.
That's crazy.
So, Randolph,
sorry, Randolph. I have to mess with everyone if I'm going to mess with people. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. This is funny, but I am trying to focus on what Sam's asking me.
Yeah. So it's either
praise. Check your email.
It's either God or nature.
Why do we need to
do that? And so if you reject, or if you fail to answer whether or not there is a God, then you have to demonstrate how morality is consistent with nature. So if you are not borrowing morality from the Christian worldview, then you have to explain how morality came about by nature. And when we look out into nature, barring humanity, it's very rough.
Morality doesn't have to be consistent with nature. Morality has to be consistent with a certain species that has developed said morality.
That's a good point.
There's your mistake in thinking.
I need to.
Peter, we can have this conversation, but I'm asking Randolph. You can borrow Peter's answer if you want, but please stop interrupting.
Last I checked, there are more people in this hangout than just you and Randolph, so everyone gets to talk, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to address something Sam said, and we're going deeper and deeper into this hole, and near the top of the hole is a problem. The problem is that there is an attempt to limit the options to two different worldviews. And
no neutrality.
Yeah, that's fine. What's a third? Aliens? That's just pushing it to another planet. Ultimately, we can say that God created the aliens, or those aliens arose by Darwinian means. So now we're back to those two worldviews, just somewhere else.
Bingo.
So
where do you want them to be?
You're attempting to insist that I defend a worldview that I don't necessarily hold. That's the problem. So morality.
Make something up then. What do you want it to be, like Pixies or something?
Now,
ultimately, there's two worldviews.
Well, where I get where my morals come from are from my own determination. Empathy certainly factors in. John Rawls, the veil of ignorance from his theory of justice thesis is another one, and or his writing. And I try to make moral determinations the best I can, but it's always subjective. It's not reliant on a Christian worldview or a naturalistic worldview. It is my own. It is unique.
Okay, let's go with that.
Your worldview.
Let's go with that. So let's say so it would be like a consensus type morality.
It
so
could,
is the
depending on what
is
it
the
is,
consensus based on?
I evaluate it on a case by case basis. So it could.
So would your consensus be based on location, like geography, or would it be within the boundaries of a country?
16-year-old.
It depends on the situation, and I guess the 16-year-old that's been mentioned here by Gareth Dawkins.
Peter,
so Randolph, you're trying to put yourself in
it's
a
not
in a
me,
safe
it's
place
Daniel.
where you're really tapped
No,
in. I'm asking you to directly.
I'm telling you how it actually is. It is based on the situation very often, and whatever the other conditions that I think I could possibly consider.
Okay, so let's establish this in real time. So would you say that your morality it's based on consensus? So however many people vote. So would that morality that you've established now, we'll make it law. Is that law? Is that going to be within the boundaries of a country, or is it more of like a geographical, like a location? Is it like statewide, or just like an area, or a whole country?
It depends on the law in question. It depends on the
pick
law in
one.
question. But
You're the president now of the world.
Laws are not necessarily moral.
Well, how does that work? Because if you are to say that somebody is or isn't right or wrong, either way, you're going to have to make a law so somebody doesn't do something.
Not necessarily.
So you have to make a law. So now you're back to the consensus.
Depends on the society in question. Some of them do need laws for
Pick one.
certain things that others don't.
Let's establish one right now from your worldview. We're establishing this right now. So would you say that it's based on a country or a state or what?
Well, if it's a law, then it's usually going to be limited to at most a country.
Okay, so we've done this with Germany, right? With what they did with the Holocaust, that was legal.
Yeah,
so that's okay with you from your worldview. That's consistent. That's fine.
And I just stated to you that not all laws are moral.
But that's okay. From your worldview, the Holocaust was, it might not have been nice, but it was fine.
I think the Holocaust was immoral.
But you just contradicted yourself now, because you said that it was based on a population consensus and based on a country. So the consensus, the population of the country, passed a law, made something legal, and then they carried it out.
That was an example that you introduced with law and consensus.
Okay, so why is it wrong? What do we do now as a globe? How do we change this? What do we do?
See, when I look at the Holocaust and the laws there that I'm telling you that I think are immoral, the reason I think they're immoral is because with the veil of ignorance from John Rawls, if I put that into practice and I consider what would it be like to be one of those people who was brought to the gas chamber, that would not be a law that would be advantageous or fair to me then. So, of course, I think there's a huge problem with fairness there, and I do think it's immoral I think capital punishment is immoral. It is systemic capital punishment, is what the Holocaust was.
And I'm not.
Why is capital punishment immoral?
I have a problem with you using the word moral because you're tap dancing and you're failing to demonstrate where exactly this morality comes from.
How am I tap dancing?
You're just saying that it's feelings. It's feelings. Well, I feel this. Well, maybe someone else feels that. I mean, obviously, the people in Germany, they had feelings too, and their feelings overruled the other people's feelings that weren't in power. So your model fails.
I wasn't there. Yeah, I told you it's a subjective determination on my part.
So from your worldview, morality fails.
Hey, Praise, check your email again.
I do think that morality is it varies from
I'm responding right now, Bob.
person to person.
So morality fails.
Yeah, it's not something that is an objective standard. It is definitely subjective.
Fair enough. Thank you. I just want to tell you guys that it's been a fun Friday night, and I want to thank you, and I just also want to pray that you, Peter and Randolph, that your curiosity grows to the point that you seek out the true nature of God and you come to like a loving relationship with Him. And just lastly, I want you guys to know that you're not a special case beyond forgiveness. You haven't done something that will like discredit you from or disqualify you from a relationship with Christ. Even He doesn't care about your past, the things that you have done. You haven't done something so bad that He will not accept a repentant heart.
Well,
So I hope you guys understand that.
yeah, it sounds like it's coming from a really good place. It's like from your heart, I guess, would be an expression.
Yeah.
I take a more passive approach on it. I'm not seeking out what I don't know is there or not there, depending what it is. In the case of deities, I don't seek them out. I have put out criteria for what it'll take to prove it to me. It's a very easy thing for your deity to do because your God has a number of characteristics. Omniscience and omnipotence are two of many. And what I would need, because this came up in debates with people.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
You need to be.
I'd need for your audience benefit here, though, I would need to be bestowed with omniscience, and omnipotence for a period of say 2 weeks.
You would need to become God. So you say. But I just pray that you have a reality, a grasp of reality.
Right. You're putting words in my mouth here.
That would be a God, right? If you're omniscient.
No.
Yes, it would.
Omnipresent. No, you would be a God at that point.
No, I'm not asking.
You would need to be God for 2 weeks. But either way, I just pray that you soften your heart, and that you wake up to the reality that God does exist, and that's why that you guys
I don't
are here.
understand why it is so many people get hung up on this.
Hey, Randolph. Look, we can continue the conversation after Sam leaves, but Sam is trying to leave.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Okay, good night.
I hope to catch you guys again.
All right, take over, Sam.
Sam, quickly before you leave, I want to thank you that we at least had a decent conversation. That hasn't happened the last time we talked, and
That's
even
true.
though your beliefs and mine are different, I do appreciate what you just said because, like Randolph just said, it comes from a good place, and that's how I can accept it, even though I don't share your beliefs. But I do appreciate your words. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night,
God
Sam.
bless you, Sam.
You too. Thanks.
Night,
Good
Sam.
talking with you, Sam.
Later.